really bad.
Danielle Grant is starving.
I know, I'm trying to see if I can get some food because we literally don't have anything to eat today or tomorrow. So I'm going to try to make ends meet, and we can.
Desperate for food, nowhere to go. Grant and many others got to the Hope Line today just to make an appointment to come back later in the week for food. Resources are slim, leaving 40% of Bronxites without money to feed themselves. Some still in shock.
You heard things before, but it's like, they're not gonna let people starve. That's ridiculous, but it's like, no, that's literally like what's happening.
We hope the food pantries maintain open, because if they don't stay open, I really don't know what we're gonna do next.
We asked people their reaction to hearing that the Trump administration will partially fund the SNAP program. People say it's not going to do much. They have families to feed and already struggled at the end of every month when they were receiving the full amount.
Wow, not enough. At least it's something to hold on, but I think everybody's going to have to get a second job.
It doesn't really last the whole month. Probably like 2 or 3 weeks, and then by the last week you got to scramble to find, things.
This couple has 4 kids. The mom says pantries aren't always reliable.
They have limited supply, or by the time we get to the front of the line, then it's really nothing there. So it's hard.
She says she's holding on to faith. Meanwhile, others are worried hunger will drive crime rates up. We don't know how much money will be reloaded onto people's cards and when that will be. In Longwood, Lindsay Tanney, News 12.
Really an unbelievable scene here in Houston. Hundreds of people at risk of losing their SNAP benefits lined up for food. The Houston Texans are partnering with the local food bank here, prepared to feed 5,000 families. It's just a fraction of the needs that exist nationwide as the government shutdown now enters its 2nd month. Here in Texas alone, more than 3 million people rely on these food stamps. Half of them are children. The message from the Houston Food Bank: this is a man-made emergency.
Well, the last time you saw scenes like this was during COVID, where the food banks around the country had to step up, and these super site-style distributions were actually fairly common. But that was nature hitting us. This is society making a horrible mistake.
And as they urge Congress to act, right now it's neighbors helping neighbors. What does it mean to you that you're losing your SNAP money?
Well, it means a lot, working hard and trying to feed our children at home and being responsible. Whatever is going on right now with the shutdown with the government, it's hurting a lot of people.
Really an unbelievable scene here in Houston.
Shalom. All praises, all power, all glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushai, Bahashem, Rakah, Kwadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone who teach well and rule well, who taught me this truth. Peace and salutations to the Akyam, the fellow laborers, the hopeful elect, pushing this truth at risk of their own lives through the 4 corners of the earth. To the Akwath listening and learning in sincerity and in truth and in silence, Shalom. This is your brother Shema from the GMS Toronto camp here in Toronto, here with another lesson. Right, we'll get right into it. Right. Saw a couple of sound bites, clips of this whole situation with the snaps, the people, food banks, right? But this headline on End Time Headlines, November 4th, 2025. Trump vows the U.S. will not pay any SNAP benefits during the government shutdown. And as you see in the first paragraph, President Donald Trump on Tuesday suggested that the United States would not pay any SNAP benefits during the government shutdown, contradicting a court filing a day earlier by his administration. Right? And you see, this is all a game for these elites. This is all a game. They're playing with people's lives, and they don't care. Right? It's all by design. All roads lead to the MOTB. Right? But they don't care. Trump has mobilized troops throughout major cities in the U.S. in preparation for what? Martial law. Cause all hell gonna break loose. People gonna push back. People gonna rebel, sedition. Right? People are not gonna regard their kings or princes. Let's get that. Right? 2 Ezra 15. Second Ezra 15. Verse 13. They that till the ground shall mourn, for their seed shall fail through the blasting and hail, and with a fearful constellation. Right? Farmers are having issues, man. Crops are failing. Crops are getting wiped out from quote unquote so-called weather phenomena. That's the will of the Lord, man. Right? It says here blasting and hail and with a fearful constellation. That's the will of the Lord. Right? The same way the Lord took out ancient Egypt with plagues. Right? It's the same way the Lord's visiting America the Great, which is spiritual Egypt, spiritual Sodom. Right? The Lord took out ancient Egypt. He took out their cattle, which was their economy at the time. Frogs. The plague of darkness. The boils on the people. Right? We read up in this chapter, it says, I will strike Egypt with plagues as before. Right? Spiritual Egypt, spiritual Sodom, America. Verse 14, woe to the world and them that dwell therein. Right? Woe means destruction. For the sword and their destruction draweth nigh. Right? The sword is a killing instrument. And what's the modern day sword? The blicky, the stick. And one people shall stand up and fight against another, and swords in their hands. Right? People are going to fight one another, and they're going to be armed. Right? Desperation leads to violence. And Lord will, that might be the title. Right? But these people, the more and more people become desperate, the more and more they become inclined to become violent towards one another. Right? The scripture just came to mind. Salakia. Let me see if I can find it. Sirach 34 and 21. Sirach 34 and 21. Sirach 34 and 21. And it reads, the bread of the needy is their life. He that defraudeth him thereof is a man of blood. Right? We use this to go into Esau's payroll system, his taxes. All man gets paid. Under the law, man's supposed to get paid at sundown. But Esau has a payroll system where it's 2 weeks before you get your pay. Right? And then he holds back money for taxes. Right? But what this wicked diabolical man is doing right now is holding back the ability for people to be able to feed themselves under Daddy Esau's SNAP and EBT programs. Right, Sirach 34 and 21. Once again, the bread of the needy is their life. Right, these people need this ability to be able to purchase food so they can eat. They are the poor. They are the poor. Right? The poor, according to Scripture, is the Israelites. Israelites as a whole, right? But you're seeing a lot of Edomites mixed in there with these SNAP benefit recipients. Edomites actually are the most that receive it, right? And then the Northern Kingdom and the Southern Kingdom, right? But these SNAPs and the EBTs, without these people being able to process these things, they're unable to eat. He that defraudeth him thereof is a man of blood, right? And this Nero 47 is now saying, we're not going to go into the contingency plan to feed these people, right? He that defraudeth him thereof is a man of blood, right? So Esau Edom is a man of blood. Verse 22, he that taketh away his neighbor's living slayeth him, right? Esau will red tape the hell out of you with bureaucracy and red tape. You could be a small business, right? And he'll kill you with red tape and then put you out of business. Say he will legally tell you you're no longer you can no longer legally operate as a corporation or sole proprietor or whatever it may be, right? Because of his bureaucracy and red tape, there was something in the fine print that you are unable to keep up to and meet, right? He that taketh away his neighbor's living slayeth him, and he that defraudeth the labor of his hire is a bloodshedder, right? Going into his taxes on your wages, right? Esau Edom, and this is his claim to fame. This is who he is, right? That's all we need, Yahushai, right? Because this place is not being governed in righteousness. Back in 2 Ezra 15, verse 15, once again, for the sword and their destruction draweth nigh, and one people shall stand up and fight against another, and swords in their hands, right? It's going to get real bad out here. People are going to war against one another, and they're going to be armed. For there shall be sedition among men. Sedition means rebellion, right? The red versus the blue, the MAGA hats versus the liberals, class wars, racial wars. Right, this is what's coming. For there shall be sedition among men, and invading one another. They shall not regard their kings nor princes, right? It's going to get to the point where people are not going to regard what the mayor says. You know? They're going to say F it and bug the hell out. And the courses of their actions shall stand in their power. They're going to do what they want. Right? They're going to do what they want. A man shall desire to go into a city and shall not be able, right? 15-minute cities, checkpoints, martial law. And look, Nero 47 has mobilized National Guard troops throughout major cities in America, right? Because they know that the powder keg, the volatile powder keg of America the Great is about to burst, right? And it's all by design, ordered out of chaos. Right? Problem, reaction, solution. For because of their pride, the city shall be troubled, the houses shall be destroyed, and men shall be afraid. Right? It's going to get real bad out here, man. It says in Daniel 12, as a matter of fact, let's get this first. Isaiah 10, verse 5, NLT. What sorrow awaits Assyria? Right, spiritual Assyria, which is America the Great, Babylon the Great, spiritual Egypt, spiritual Sodom, spiritual Assyria, Nineveh, right? The rod of my anger, I use it as a club to express my anger, right? The Lord is about to use the Edomites, right? America the Great, Babylon the Great, right? Who is the sword, right? The Edomites being the sword of Yahweh Bashim El Shah on the left-hand side. It says here, he will use it. The Lord is going to use America as a club to express his anger on who? 2/3 of our people. Verse 6 NLT, I am sending Assyria against a godless nation, against a people with whom I am angry. Right, and the Lord's angry with the Israelites. Right, you 2/3. Right, a godless nation. Assyria will plunder them, trampling them like dirt beneath its feet. Right, it's going to get real bad out here, man. Jacob's trouble is Jacob's judgment. 2/3 of our people are going to be judged. Right, horrifically, grievously. KJV, I will send him against a hypocritical nation, and against the people of my wrath will I give him a charge. Right, the Lord's given Esau a charge to do what? To take the spoil and to take the prey and to tread them down like the mire of the streets. You 2/3, man. You're going to be tread down like the mire of the streets. And the Lord is putting the spirit on Esau, Edom, to be that cruel Lord. Right? Nero 47. Right? He don't care. These elites, they don't care. Right? You peons, you're pawns in the game of the New World Order. Daniel 12:1. And at that time shall Michael stand up. Right? Michael the archangel. Right? Mayaka Allah. He is like the power. Right? The great prince which standeth for the children of thy people. Who is the people of the Lord Yahweh Shemashai? The Israelites, beginning with the elect. And there shall be a time of trouble, such as never was since there was a nation. Right? And we're about to go into these times. This time of trouble, which has never since there was a nation. Right? It's going to get real bad out here, real dark. Even to that same time, and at that time thy people shall be delivered, every one that shall be found written in the book. Right? And the elect will have a hedge of protection around them. Right? 2/3 are going to perish, man. 2/3 are going to starve to death, end up in a FEMA camp, concentration camp, re-education center. They're going to take the C-hip. They're going to perish by the sword. They're going to starve to death. They're going to be deleted with teeth of wild beasts. Women going to be ravished. Children going to be ravished. A time like no other. So with that, call Allah Yahweh Ba'Shem Yashai, Ba'Shem Rakah Kodash. Double honors to the apostle and elders, a great millstone, to teach one rule well. Shalom to the elect.